I don't know if I need to tell you this, but perks in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies are kind of important. And although they might look the same and act similar as they do in Cold War Zombies, given how different Modern Warfare Zombies is compared to the usual zombies we know and love, these perks end up taking on different roles and become more or less useful in this new environment. And that's why I thought it would be interesting to rank all 9 perks in the game so far in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, and most likely get shouted at in the comments for it. Which, you know, does lead me on to say this is my opinion, so if you agree or disagree with this list, just comment down below and we'll discuss it. So kicking it off at number 9, the worst perk in the game so far, and worst sounds really harsh, but it's not supposed to. I love all of these perks. Elemental Pop takes our first spot. Try saying that one 3 times fast. I am ashamed and upset to put this here. It hurts me just as much as it hurts you, unless maybe you're an Elemental Pop hater, in which case I'm sure you're punching the air in excitement right now. Putting it this low, it hurts my soul, but it has to go here, and this is mainly because it's very RNG based. What Elemental Pop does is it's meant to give you all of the elemental ammo effects, so you don't have to pick just one, but the problem with that is it then leads to, when it's randomly activated, it will give you a random ammo mod. You can't toggle or anything like that, meaning you could be in a life or death situation and you would then panic shoot at the nearest zombie in front of you, and instead of Shatter Blast kicking in and saving the day, you'd instead be put on your ass because Cryo Freeze kicked in and did next to nothing, and was not enough to get rid of the zombie swarming you. The thing you eventually come to understand with Elemental Pop after using it so many times is that it's quite hit or miss. On paper, it's a great concept, and when it works well and works in your favour, it's very nutworthy, but when it doesn't, which is most of the time, it's gonna leave you banging on the Wonder Fizz machine, demanding your 2,000 points back. Elemental Pop, my beloved. I'm sad it is this way, but compared to everything else, as much as I love this perk, it's coming in last. Moving swiftly on, the next perk on this list is PhD Flopper. Okay, put your pitchforks down. I absolutely adore this perk. I've got to throw my hands up and say that now. I'm a PhD lover just as much as the next guy. But the problem with PhD is the utility isn't all there. To be honest with you, the only tweaks I would actually make to PhD to make this a way more viable perk is to make it so that fall damage is completely negated, not just when you dolphin dive. In tier 3, this perk loses its spiciness. I find it hasn't killed many zombies in tier 3 despite jumping off of a 2 or 3 story building. It really does put the flop in PhD Flopper, but I will say not taking any explosive damage and being able to gracefully swan dive off of a 10-story building or something crazy like that is a fun time, and the explosion at the end is mostly a chef's kiss from me, or at least when it kills more than 2 zombies. Onwards to our next perk. It's the drink that gives you the perception of death. It is Death Perception. I don't know where I was going with that. Not that this matters at all, but I want to quickly say it. Death Perception has a criminally underrated perk jingle. And as for the actual perk, if this was Black Ops 4, I would have told you that, yeah, this perk isn't too great. Modern Warfare Zombies is so focused on loot and supplies that carrying this perk idea over from Outbreak in Cold War, where they added the upgrade that makes you be able to see chests through walls and buildings, is a good thing. I'm so glad they carried it over, because that is the perfect evolution for Death Perception. If they were to put it in a game mode like this, and much like it did in Outbreak, and seeing those beautiful orange outlines of loot can lead you down the path of getting some good stuff. And what's cooler is if there's any enemies in that building, or say if you're raiding a stronghold or something, you'll be able to see them as well. It gives you a huge advantage, and you can plan your approach, and knowing what dangers lurk around the corner before it's way too late. It's a perk that literally tells you the risks and the rewards. Up next, and I feel like if this was Cold War, it would be way higher, Deadshot Daiquiri. It just isn't what it was in Cold War. Again, another one that drains the soul from me as the words come out of my mouth to put this so low. And my main issue with it is it's not as noticeable as to what it actually does. And sure, I don't play controller, so I don't need the aim assist, because, you know, my aim is out of this world. That's never been the main focus of Deadshot for me since Cold War. When that came out, it was revamped, and the upgrades you could get would make Deadshot not only snap to the head if you ADS, but also add additional headshot damage. And whilst yes, that is still very much a thing in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, I don't feel like I notice it that much. Maybe this is just me, but I can't tell all too well. It just kind of feels like it doesn't have that same punch. When I have the perk, I'm not really feeling like I'm doing that much damage to the zombies, despite the perk saying it does do that extra critical damage. I think Deadshot might need a slight buff, because in the current state of the game, we're about 2.5 weeks after launch right now, it doesn't feel like a super noticeable difference. It's like your water gun got upgraded to a Nerf gun. Yeah, you'll feel the impact of a Nerf bullet a bit more, but how impactful actually is it? If Deadshot was to receive a buff, I feel as though it would be jumping up several ranks in this list. But overall, I do understand that having this perk equipped does make a difference, even if that difference is very small and very difficult to notice. And if you're dealing with those really annoying armored enemies, god, they're infuriating, then it should help at least. In a game where enemies tend to feel a little spongy, anything that can help maximize your damage is going to be a plus though. And that's why Deadshot has gotten itself a few spots up. But come on Treyarch, buff Deadshot. In the number 5 spot, this is Quick Revive. Not only does this actually revive your allies quicker, but it also has a 50% increase in the time it takes to heal your health. Or to put it more technically, it reduces the health delay by 50%. So you know those times where you step foot into a tier 3 zone and then immediately get the shit beaten out of you? Then the health bar goes down and it does nothing? Quick Revive will help speed that up so that you can start healing your health faster. It's about as valuable and important to have as it sounds, and ends up becoming a real game changer. I'd say from Quick Revive onwards, these perks I'm about to mention are your must-haves for going into a game, or at least the ones you want to acquire when you're in one. Up next, we have Speed Cola. It speeds up your life, it's good. Not only can you reload nice and silky smoothly fast in this, I don't know what it is, but Speed Cola just feels so nice. But it also lets you slap those armor plates into your vest at breakneck speed. And if there's any issue that stands out like a beaten, broken, sore thumb to me inside of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, it's that when you put armor plates in and there's a big mob of zombies chasing you, it will not end well. 9 times out of 10 they're gonna catch up to you and you'll be walking like nothing's going on around you, you know, as though you're not in a life or death situation or anything. 9 times out of 10, if you're in a tier 2 zone, especially a tier 3, god forbid, they'll pounce on you and start a pylon on top of you. They show no mercy, and you can't animation cancel. Once you put those armor plates in, you're like locked into it whilst you're getting hit. Speed Cola basically solves that problem where although you can't cancel the animations, you can make them happen a lot quicker. And although the reloading is one of the standouts of this perk, in this game mode of zombies, being able to armor yourself up as quick as possible is not only a nice quality of life change, it's going to keep you less vulnerable for more time. With how fast paced things get later on in the game, Speed Cola is an absolute must because it's essential to keep up with how fast the game gets. So this next one might be a little shocking to people because in any other perk tier list, this has always been number 1, and rightfully so. Juggernog, not Juggernaut. I know there's you people out there. There's not really much to say about Jug despite it being so high up on the list. Much like armor plates, having Juggernog is a must. It boosts your health by 100 and that is all I need to say. It's always been a fan favourite in zombies for a reason, and in this game it puts you from 150 health to a nice tanky 250. Even if you're just in a tier 1 zone, I would say that this should be a priority. More health means you won't get game ended as much, and with how this game can put you in a steaming mood, guzzling Jug will help prevent a lot of that stress. Inching our way up to our second to last spot, things are getting spicy now. We have my personal favourite perk. Yes, it took everything for me to not put this at number 1. The Stamina Up takes the number 2 spot. Being able to run fast in such a big map is already an invaluable thing. When you're on a time limit, you get to do more stuff, even quicker, and considering you've got some bulky ass gun probably that's like got 5 million attachments on it, it won't weigh you down as much. And then if you decide to switch to your fists, you're going to be gliding around this map. This can help you outrun the faster zombies in tier 3. And when it comes to mercenaries, I'm just saying if we had the right perks, maybe we could outrun the bullets. I think movement is something I really enjoy in games anyway, but Stamina Up, all bias aside, it's a big map, you're a slow runner, zombies run fast, bullets go a lot faster, you can run to cover, run to cars, run to buildings, get around quicker, and avoid soaking up damage in the first place. With the insane value that Stamina Up provides, this is going to be one of those perks you want to extract with and use as soon as possible. I make this and Juggernog a priority in my match. More health and more speed is something you just can't turn down. And for our final spot, you've probably seen it coming by now. Becoming the Apex Champion, the Victory Royale, is that even a word? The Chicken Dinner Winner. Tombstone. What was once considered the worst perk in the whole of Call of Duty Zombies has now had an absolute redemption arc. This perk is actually a revenant. I've not seen something come back from irrelevancy like this. Usually it would encourage teammates to kick the bucket themselves and become hellhound food, but this time is different. Usually when you choose to feed yourself to the zombies in the older COD games, you'll drop a gravestone. This gravestone will let you get your stuff back when you spawn in next round. But this time, they have optimized and fine-tuned this perk to fit this new style of game mode so perfectly. Not only can you not be completely selfish and ditch your teammates just because you wanted your loot, but now that loot you lost in that gravestone is still a thing, it just carries over into the next match. So when you deploy into a fresh game, you can go and get your stuff back. The loot you probably spent an hour grinding for. And just remember that precious loot is something that will take a while to get back a lot of the time. Death is inevitable in this game. As much as you might be having a good streak now, it will happen at some point, and when it does, my words are gonna echo in your mind. You'll be able to get your stuff back and be happy once again and essentially pick up right where you left off. It's the insurance policy you've dreamed of in a game like this. And really, it comes down to the most simple of things. Getting loot is a core part of the game. No one wants to lose their loot, but it's inevitable at some point. Tombstone lets you get that loot back in a loot-focused game, and that's why it is always good to have this on you for those risky raids you might be pulling, because if you don't, it could cost you some really good stuff. And that's why I think, although Stamina Up is my favourite perk, although Jug is one of the most useful perks, being able to save some of the rarest loot you can get in the game, and have this 1-up for your loot, is honestly really well implemented and is a good balance when it comes to that insurance policy in a game where dying and looting is a huge part of the system. If they end up nerfing Tombstone though, yeah, we're going to be dropping it a good few ranks down, and then Stamina Up will wriggle its way up there. And those were all 9 Modern Warfare 3 Zombies perks ranked from worst to best. If you enjoyed or agreed with this, be sure to smash the like button. Comment your list down below. Is there any rankings you would change on this video? Whether you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. I'd love to discuss it all. And subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, you won't regret it, and turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.